Today I'm giving you some helpful tips on how to turn your junk guitars into custom shops, all by trading. It's like guitar, let's do this. Guys, this is a Les Paul Custom Shop 68F. They are incredible guitars, and I got one for the low price of $300. And I'm going to show you guys how I traded this guitar up to help you with your own personal trades and finding the best guitars you can get for the money, or lack thereof. Let's do this. My first step to trading guitars is you have to learn to let things go, and a beggar cannot be a chooser. So listen guys, we are limited by a number of factors when trading guitars. We are limited by what guitars are popular, what guitars are actually in the marketplace, and what guitars we can feasibly have a decent offer moving forward. Now, to be fair, when we're trading up a guitar, we are going to be offering a guitar of lesser value for a guitar of higher value, but the margins are a little smaller than you think. Realistically, we can only trade up 20% or so of value in a guitar. Now, there are things that change that, and I'll let you know further in the video, but it's very important that we have a realistic expectation of where we're going every trade we move. If I have a $500 guitar that's reasonably within that $500, I have about plus or minus 20% in that margin of value to find a guitar that's better. So a guitar that would be $600, for example. Sometimes, though, you find a decent trade at a higher value, but overall the rule must stand. You have to have an expectation of what value you have and really what you can get for a trade for any guitar you own. Here's my second tip. To piggyback off tip number one, perceived value is different than actual market value. Now, I've harped on perceived value before in trading guitars, but effectively, perceived value is what a customer views his or her guitar's value at. Just because a guitar might be on Marketplace listed for $700 doesn't actually mean it's worth $700, but for some reason, that person who's trading or selling their guitar believes their guitar to be worth more than it actually is. Sometimes you can't help that. Sometimes you cannot play into the game of someone else's perceived value, especially if it's something like, an heirloom, or it's special to them in some way, or they're not really sure if they want to sell it or not. People tend to overvalue guitars they care for, whereas if you're a objective trader like myself, you understand that every guitar has a market value, and there's no point in fighting someone to get them to understand what the value of their guitar is. So understanding the psychological perspective of perceived value is important to how you barter and how you move guitar for guitar in the marketplace. Third tip, cash is always king, but don't underestimate the power of a good trade. Now hear me out, guys. Now listen, it's always fun when you get a cash offer for a trade guitar, but typically I've found that if you're selling guitars, cash value is inherently going to be a little lower than the trade value you can receive. So for an example, if I have a guitar that costs $700, I may be able to liquidate that guitar for $550, right? I may be able to move that guitar for far less than it's actually valued at through a brick and mortar retail store. Now, if it's my prerogative to find quick cash, I can do that. I can liquidate it. And sometimes to the right person, cash is more important to finding a deal. It works both ways. But I've found that I can find really great trades and even better value in trades if I were to trade a guitar instead of just finding a way to liquidate it for cash money. So maybe that guitar might be $550 cash, but I can find someone to trade me a $800 or $900 guitar for that $700 guitar. And that to me is worth more than just liquidating. But if you're hurting for cash, you need the cash. Now it works the other way too. If you have a little extra cash, you can usually talk people down a significant amount because cash can buy anything. You can only trade guitar for guitar, generally, unless you find some guy with some lifted truck he'd sell a guitar for. You know what I mean? So make sure you understand that cash is king, but when we're looking at trades, it might be worth your time to stay away from the cash and focus on trading up instead. Fourth tip, you gotta know the market that you're in. Now listen guys, I am in Nashville, Tennessee. I understand that Nashville's bread and butter is on the Les Pauls, Strats, Tellys, right? Crazy top guitars like PRSs and Gretches and some of these other weird brands, or maybe even more highfalutin premium brands They don't fly in this town. You have to understand the town that you're in as well. I know for a fact that me finding a jazz cat to buy a really nice arch top is going to be very difficult in this state. Whereas if I were to go to California or New York, the East or West Coasts, jazz boxes are a lot more popular, right? So you have to understand where your guitar market is in. If you guys live in podunk nowhere trying to sell and buy guitars, it may not be viable for you, right? I have the blessing of the fact that Nashville has so many guitar players, so many guitars in the market right now, that I get to kind of pick and choose in a way, and I have a lot more saturation in my market than you might in yours. Understand your market so you know what guitars to trade for and obtain so that you can have better leverage in your business dealings. Final tip of the day, tip number 5, do not push on a customer. Guys, some guitar trades just don't happen. I cannot tell you how many times I've made an offer for a trade, right? And I've made an offer and he's backed out last minute, or he got cold feet, or maybe I was given an offer and the guy thought against it last minute. Guys, these things are going to happen. Do not burn your reputation as a seller or a marketplace user on people that just don't have the same priorities as you. The amount of trades you make are all going to come out in the wash. It's a statistical reality. You guys are going to get burned. You guys are going to have your own second thoughts. You guys are going to poorly research a guitar, make an offer, and then have to backtrack. It happens both and to buyer and seller alike. It's important not to burn the relationships because you never know when they might be back with another guitar that they're more keen on selling. Keep it copacetic. Keep it simple. It's just business, and it's cool if something falls through the cracks. It's all good. Guys, I hope you liked this little short video on getting the best trades for your money in a guitar trading climate. You too can trade from junkers to full-fledged custom shops just like me. It takes a little know-how, a little elbow grease, and you too can do it. I hope these tips help. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. I will give you all the details and more than that if you'd like on my own business dealings in trading guitars. And it's going to be a lot of fun. All right, guys, so go out there, go trade some guitars, get some new inventory, let me know what you have. We'll see you next time on IkeGuitar.